Hi, this is Lisa Newman with Custer County OSU Extension. And on behalf of Western Plains Library System, I thank you for joining us today for Active Parenting the First 5 Years. This is the first of 4 series of Zooms and videos interacting together for the Active Parenting First 5 Years program. This is written by Dr. Michael Popkin, along with 2 Oklahoma State University Extension specialists in the area of early childhood, Amanda Sheffield Morris and Dr. Laura Hubbs Tate, along with Ruth Slocum. And so they have prepared this excellent program that gives you some great insights that we can all learn from, whether we're parenting or caregiving. So let's get started. And welcome to the first session. It's called You and Your Child. We're going to be watching a series of videos, and then I'll be kind of just giving a little bit of instruction in between. So let's get going. So a good rule of thumb whenever you're learning anything about parenting is use the best and let go of the rest. We all have some habits that may not be the best, but as we learn new ones, we can use those very best ones to help guide our children into being successful adults. So the first video we're going to watch is called Parenting, a Special Job. And I think you'll see as you watch through this that we do have very important job to raise up young children to be strong and independent and emotionally intelligent, and know that they are loved and nurtured and that they can always trust us. So let's get going on this first video. Enjoy.
Some of the challenges of being a parent is simply waking up.
Trying to find the happy medium between the work-life play balance, it can be tough sometimes.
One challenge at their young age is when they cry, because it's hard for them to communicate at such a young age. So figuring out what they want, what they need can be a challenge.
When they don't sleep at night because the next day we're both just so tired.
And I think one of the big challenges that we talk about a lot is things that our parents did that were great and how we can emulate that, and some things that our parents did that weren't so great and how we can be different parents than them.
Balancing work and time with the kids and just time for us too, because that's so important as well. So it's a big juggling act.
Parenting our young children, one of the most important jobs in our society. At times the most challenging of jobs, and at times the most rewarding. Hello, I'm Tinashe Kajese, and it's a pleasure to be your host for Active Parenting First 5 Years. One thing is always true about parenting. It's a special job, and there is no other job exactly like it in the world. And our children are special people who deserve the best parenting that we can give them. After all, they are the future, and it is up to us as parents to help make it a good one. As the parent of a 3-year-old myself, I know from personal experience that caring for children, whether as a parent or other caregiver, is filled with both joys and challenges. Researchers know that who our children will become is most influenced by what happens during the first 5 years of their lives. So you are wise to be thinking about how you will parent them now. This program will help you understand your young children and what they need, and it will show you some skills to help you raise them and still have energy to take care of your own needs. Because after all, taking care of the parent is part of what good parenting is all about. So is having fun with your child and getting in touch with the sheer joy of being close to one who is such a miracle. Never forget that you are the most important person in the world to your child. In this video, we have represented some of the wonderful diversity that exists in families. Even so, you may find that they don't match your family exactly. Don't be concerned. Throughout Active Parenting's more than 30-year history, we have found that families are much more alike than different, and that families of various races, religions, nationalities, and economic backgrounds have learned these lessons well and have made positive improvements in their family lives. In fact, active parenting is used all over the world. It works because it teaches parents, grandparents, and other caregivers skills that help them prepare their children to be successful, contributing members of their communities. So for simplicity's sake, when we say parent in this program, we are also including you other caregivers who play such a vital role with our children. And now it is my privilege to introduce you to the author and founder of Acting Parenting, Dr. Michael Popkin. Dr. Popkin, the author of a dozen programs and over 30 books, has traveled throughout the world talking to parents and educators about the importance of parenting education and has appeared as an expert on hundreds of television shows, including CNN and Oprah. And like most of us, he's also a parent. Dr. Michael Popkin.
Hello and welcome to Active Parenting First 5 Years. Because your time and energy are important, your being here says a lot about how much you care about your children and about your job as their parent or caregiver. It also says that you understand that like any other job that's important and challenging, parenting deserves support and training as well. Now, thanks to organizations and individuals like the ones making your course possible, parenting education is being made available to more and more parents. Chances are you already know a lot about parenting. Our job is to help you know even more. More skills, more good ideas, and more of what has been learned by the millions of parents who have gone before you. It's like a child building a tower with blocks. It's important to have a solid foundation if you want to build high. Our goal is to help you develop a solid foundation of parenting skills so that you can give your children a solid foundation of life skills and values on which to build. So, have a great time and keep an open mind for new ideas. And I look forward to joining you again from time to time throughout the program.
Now, let's see some of what's in store for us in the coming 4 sessions. In session 1, you and your child will explore the special relationship that exists between you and your child and ways to make it rich and satisfying to both of you. We'll look at the ages and stages of the first 5 years and what makes each one unique so you'll know what to expect as they grow. You'll also learn a very powerful skill for preventing and solving some of the behavior problems that are part of life with young children, as well as the importance of play to their healthy development. In session 2, Preventing Problems, we'll begin by taking a look inside your child's beautiful brain to see what science has already discovered about it that makes it so amazing and what you can do to help make it even more amazing. We'll continue to look at problems and how to prevent and solve them, the importance of good rules, and 2 great skills for redirecting children when they start to misbehave. Finally, we'll end session 2 on a warm, fuzzy note when we look at the importance of good routines, hugs, and I love yous. Session 3, Encouraging Positive Behavior, is about the D word, discipline. You may be surprised to learn where this word comes from and what it really means. We'll be learning a powerful nonviolent discipline skill called choice and consequences to stop misbehavior, and the even more powerful skill of encouragement to help teach them positive behavior. Because after all, it's our job to build them up, not tear them down. We'll wrap up with session 4, Preparing for School Success, in which you'll learn the 6 smart things that parents of young children can do to help their child succeed in school. We'll teach you some ways to play smart with your child, get more out of reading to them, help them to understand and handle feelings, including anger, how to really encourage learning, and much more. If, in addition to watching these videos, you are also participating in an Active Parenting First 5 Years course, you will be learning some new methods for handling stress. These include activities for self-calming and strategies to assist children in calming themselves. We also have specific activities to help build your child's brain, learning activities, games, and things to do with children to help them be ready to learn. If this sounds like a full 4 sessions, you're right. And to get the most out of the experience, it is important that you keep up with your reading in your parent's guide and do your home activities each week. We keep it short and straightforward because we know you're busy, but don't let that fool you. This will reinforce and extend what you learn in each session, and help you apply the information at home where it counts the most.
So what do our children need to learn? Well, they need to learn how to do things for themselves to create independence, how to do what they say they will do. So taking responsibility for their own actions, how to have confidence in themselves, and that builds self-esteem. How to take a risk when it's worthwhile, and that instills courage. So when we encourage our children to try new things, we are teaching them to be courage and to take that risk, to try something new. And how to get along with others. Social skills are very important, and how to cooperate with one another, even when it may be giving up our own needs and wishes in some ways. And then how to problem solve without yelling or hitting. We know none of us like to have conflict, so it's better to learn to problem solve. And we'll teach a few of those ways as well. And then the academic skills that they need to be ready for school. So the next video we're going to watch is called Ages and Stages. It's going to help us understand through each stage of life, from infanthood up to age 5 years. What should we be expecting, and how should we be training a child at that age and encouraging them in their next steps to grow from infancy to school ready? Let's watch this one.
Have you ever tried to remember what you were like when you were the age of your child? Chances are you will only have a few, if any, actual memories of that time. But let's imagine you could remember and learn from the experience.
When I arrived, I gave a cry to tell the world I'm here. I sure look cute in my birthday suit, and my parents held me dear.
They hugged me and kissed me and sang me sweet songs. They kept me close and as warm as toast, and I felt that I belonged.
I watched and I heard every single word, my brain taking it all in. I cried and they soothed, they smiled and I cooed. Life sure was sweet back then.
Ages and stages,
One at a time,
help me move through them, help me grow fine. Ages and stages,
I'm my own pace.
no need to rush me. This isn't a race. When I was one, the world was fun. My empire to explore. I dart and dash and sometimes crash, and my bottom would hit the floor.
The world was new, and I was too. I had to touch each new thing. It went to my mouth to figure it out, then I'd throw it aside with a fling.
I went exploring, it never was boring. My motto was, let's check it out. My mind and body were growing like crazy, a handful, without a doubt. Ages and stages,
One at a time,
help me move through them, help me grow fine. Ages and stages,
I'm my own pace.
no need to rush me. This isn't a race.
When I was 2, the world I knew was always mine to rule. I used my powers and smashed some towers and demanded that you be cool.
Now in command, I didn't understand that I couldn't have my own way. I said, do as you're told, cause I'm big and I'm bold, and my tantrums can ruin your day.
At times a delight, you loved me in spite of how often I made you say no. My job was to test and give you no rest. No wonder your energy was low.
Ages and stages,
One at a time,
help me move through them, help me grow fine. Ages and stages,
I'm my own pace.
no need to rush me. This isn't a race. When I was 3, I'd beg and plead to go outside and play. I jumped on a swing and a big sliding thing, and I laughed with my buddies all day.
Although I was known to play on my own, I was ready to make some new friends. My mind worked so fast, so much language at last, that my questions seemed never to end.
Sometimes not too sure, I felt insecure, but was usually ready to learn. I loved a good book, you read and I looked, practice sharing and taking my turn. Ages and stages,
One at a time,
help me move through them, help me grow fine. Ages and stages,
I'm my own pace.
no need to rush me. This isn't a race.
When I was 4, I wanted more adventure, so I took to the sea. I sailed far and wide in my tub on the tide. Ducky and Teddy and me.
No limitation to my imagination. Playing pretend was so cool. I could also be wild, a challenging child, testing the limits and rules.
It's not I was bad, but the pleasure I had in trying so many new things left me cranky and tired, and sometimes just wired from growing my roots and my wings.
Ages and stages,
One at a time,
help me move through them, help me grow fine. Ages and stages,
tend me with care.
love me forever, and joy we will share.
What's a child's job? Every one of us has a job that we have to do. So a young child, their job is to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. And we are their guides. We're their encouragers to do that as they go through each stage of life that we just learned about. We have to remember that each of us has our own temperament or nature. Some of us are bolder than others and more outgoing, while others may be quiet and very observant. And then when we put experience with that, what are the experiences that our children live through? And what have they had the opportunity to do? So we put that temperament with experience, and then we add in their free will. And that shows us what our child will become. Because as we let them make choices for themselves within limits at this age, they will become a child who is able to be strong and independent and show courage and be kind to others as well. So, parenting styles. Remember the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Just like the beds in Goldilocks and the Three Bears, we parents can be too hard, too soft, or just right. And that's what we want to achieve. We want to be loving and kind and supportive, but yet set firm boundaries and guide our children into the ways that we want to go. We don't want to be overly rigid or strict, and we don't want to just let them do whatever they want either, because that can be just as bad as being too hard. So we want that just right balance of parenting. And how do we get that? Well, there's many ways, as we've seen, that we can use to lead our children into the way that we want them to go into that just right through firm but loving discipline. And one thing we can do to help with calming situations such as tantrums and upsets and frustrations is to teach our children and ourselves, because sometimes we need to be calmed down, is to practice mindfulness. And what mindfulness means is paying attention, fully being immersed in the moment that we're at, and doing things on purpose. So by doing that, it helps us to calm down through moving through our strong feelings, accepting the moment, taking a moment to take it all in, and then working through and managing our stress and staying present in all the relationships in our life and being actively involved. It helps us to be better parents, and it helps our children because they benefit from being with us when we're at our best. So what are some things that we can do to do this? Well, we can start with a simple little tool that we can use not only for ourselves, but our kids. So we can, I will send to the library some handouts that show how to make a mindfulness jar, but it's basically, there's several different ways to do it. One of my favorite ways is to use a little bit of clear Elmer's glue and add some glitter to it and some water, and then seal the lid with a little bit of hot glue or super glue so it doesn't come undone. I like to use plastic, the fruit flavored sparkling water bottles. Make these, you can peel the label off easily, they don't break, but you want to seal it. And then we're going to put the water and the glue and the glitter in there, seal it up, and then start with a jar. We think that this jar represents our minds. And right now it's in a relaxed state. Everything's calm, but as we go through the day, daily life as a parent can be pretty stressful. And so as that happens, we see that our mind becomes a little overwhelmed and swirled. So when the liquid gets shaken up, and this is an activity you can show your kids, and it can be a calming activity for the whole family. we shake it up, and man, everything's just swirling and going around in our heads. We become emotionally flooded, and we're just overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And so these are how our thoughts and our distractions stress us out. And we're just in that swirling mess, almost like a tornado going on in our brain and our minds. And so as we shake up that jar, it represents that. And you can tell your kids, hey, shake this up and let it have your frustration and your, just how you feel inside, and then set it down. And as it begins to swirl and calm and settle, and we begin to breathe in deeply and just take in the moment and process everything that's going on and how we feel, we begin to see our jar settle down. And as it does, all those thoughts and feelings are still there, but they begin to rest at the bottom. And then we can choose which ones we want to think about. One at a time, if we like. We can take and just kind of go through and say, okay, you know, I'm feeling really frustrated right now because the washer's not working. And my kids are upset because they can't go out inside and play in the rain. And then say, you know, I can't do anything about the washer right now except maybe make plans to get it repaired or replaced. But right now, my kids need my time and my attention. So let's take a moment and say, you know, what can we do inside to enjoy this rainy day? And brainstorm together as we calm down, and think of something that you all enjoy doing together. And then go on to the next thing and work through it, but do it together and learn to self-calm and self-regulate using mindfulness. And I think you'll enjoy it. So the next video is going to talk about those different parenting styles, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, about the too soft, too hard, and just right, how that looks. So let's take a moment and watch this video.
A woman who moved to America from a very poor country was asked what was the most difficult part of learning to live in the United States. Her answer? The amazing number of choices available to the average American. Life had been simpler in her homeland, and there had been few choices to make. But in the US, just choosing a breakfast cereal in a grocery store could be an overwhelming experience for her, one in which she counted 48 choices. As adults, we all know the importance of making good choices. Giving children choices now can help them learn to be good decision makers later.
Would you rather read your alphabet book or your numbers book today?
Chicka chicka boom boom.
The alphabet book? A told B, and B told C.
Always up to the top of the coconut tree.
That's right.
There's another reason for giving children choices that has to do with how we choose to discipline them. Sometimes parents are too hard, like this.
Jamie, I asked you to put away your blocks. Now you put them away this instant.
No!
Being too hard with kids can break their spirits or lead to rebellion. Not what we want for kids who will need a strong spirit and the ability to cooperate later on. But some parents go too far the other way and become too soft.
Oh, Jamie. I asked you to clean up your blocks. I guess I'll wait till tomorrow. Let's go read your story and go to bed,
Being too soft with kids can spoil them, teaching them that they can always get their own way, or it can teach them to give up too easily. And both of these parenting styles are actually disrespectful to the child. This program will teach an active approach to parenting that we'll call the just right style, because it strikes a balance between being too hard and too soft. One of the skills in the just right approach is the method of choice. When we give choices, we give our children some power in their lives, and that reduces their desire to rebel. Let's see another way Tanya and Derek could have handled getting the blocks put away, so that instead of being too hard or too soft, they're just right.
Jamie, it looks like you're having trouble putting away your blocks. I tell you what, would you like to put them in the bucket by yourself, or would you like for me to help you this time?
I want you to help me this time.
Okay, well, I'll put one in and then you put one in, okay? All right. Good job.
Now, of course, it doesn't always work out this well. Jamie might have still refused to even help put the blocks away. Fortunately, we'll be learning some discipline skills throughout this program that you can use as part of the just right style of parenting. But for now, think about how you can give your children choices that empower them and are still okay to you.
Just right is where we want to be. And we call that the active style of parenting. And so that means that you are actively present, you're mindful of what you're doing, and you're making intentional choices and being positive in the way that you present things to your children. So we want to build that strong bond that our children will trust us, that they know that we are bigger, smarter, kinder, wiser, that we are their soft place to fall, and that anytime that anything happens, they can come to us and we can help them through that situation and help them make wise choices in their life. So when we tell our children we love them and we encourage them and we give them right direction and help them make those choices, we're going to build that bond. So how do we build that bond? We play together, laugh, hug, kiss, cuddle, hold, and we talk and we read to our baby child, not at them, but with them, and have conversations. Even before they can speak, they're going to communicate back from us. They hear the mother's and father's voice, even in the womb. So then we want to protect them and keep them safe and know that we are those big, strong arms that lovingly surround them and set boundaries that will keep them safe. And then we soothe them, we calm them when they get upset, and we care for them, whether they're hurt or sick, hungry. We meet those needs and help them to learn to meet their own needs as they grow. So the next video is going to talk more about building this bond. It's never too early to start, even before their bond, and it's seldom too late that we can't continue to build that loving, kind bond.
Spending time with your baby is one of the real joys of parenthood, but it does much more. When you connect with your baby in a positive way, through touch or words or a loving face, when you do things to care for your baby or protect your precious child, when you laugh or play together or help your child learn, you are also building a bond that will serve you both well for years to come. Like the cement that holds two bricks together, a bond between a parent or other caregiver and a child will make the relationship stronger and hold it together when things get tough. And because we humans are much more than just bricks and mortar, this bond will also help the child feel secure and the adult feel satisfied. In fact, there's a lot of research that shows that when a child attaches to a loving adult, they are much more likely to survive and thrive. While it is never too late to develop this bond with your child, the sooner you start, the better. One of the best ways to develop a bond is by being the one to soothe your child when she is hurting or in discomfort. How can you tell when your child needs comforting or help? With older children, they sometimes may tell you,
I'm hungry.
Dinner's gonna be ready in an hour, but you can have some strawberries.
Of course, babies don't have the language skills yet to tell you what they need, so they have developed an ingenious way to get your attention so you can help them. A baby's cry is an amazing adaptation that has enabled our species to survive for thousands and thousands of years. It lets us know that something is wrong and needs taken care of. The only problem is that it doesn't tell us exactly what is wrong. That's where parents and other caregivers have to be a bit of a detective.
Sounds like Riley needs something.
She just ate. I know she isn't hungry. Do you want me to go check on her?
Thanks, but I got it.
As Liz checks to see what might be bothering her daughter, her own mother is standing by to help if needed, being careful not to take over or become critical. What Liz needs, like any young mother, is encouragement, support, and room to make a few mistakes of her own as she learns what her daughter's different cries mean and how to soothe them.
Mom, I've checked everything and she's still upset.
Well, sometimes babies are a mystery. But whenever you were upset and I couldn't figure out what's wrong, Something that helped would be to hold you close and sing while rocking you. The combination of my voice, touch, and movement seemed to soothe you. Does Riley have a favorite song?
Maybe. Okay. Every time I see you looking my way, Riley, Riley, can you feel my heartbeat in my arms or dancing around the kitchen? Riley, Riley, can you feel my heartbeat when you move up closer to me? I get the feeling that's ooh-wee. Can you feel the pounding of my heartbeat? 'Cause you're the one I love. 'Cause you're the one I love.
So how do we bond? Well, when we bond, what happens? Why is it beneficial to show those loving, nurturing touches and kind words? Babies will cry less. They'll learn how to self-soothe them. And then they will calm down more quickly when we pick them up because they know that you will help calm them. And they learn associating calmness and your touch. And because we touch with kindness and love and gentleness, we never shake a baby or hit them. So because that can cause not only serious injury, but brain damage and even death. So we start talking with our child so they will know that we're with them and they hear our voice and find that comforting as well. And the tone of voice we use is very important. And we also need to share frustrations and help our children name our frustrations. We've all seen the happy face emojis and the laughing emojis, but helping our children name them. When you see their face, identify and say, oh, you look like you're scared right now. Did something scare you? What startled you? You know, you're going to be all right because I love you and you're here and you're safe in my arms. And go, ooh, did that surprise you? Well, sometimes surprises are good. Let's look and see again and discover what's inside because sometimes there's good things in surprises. So each emotion we can help them carry. So how did we know what our children are expressing? Sometimes they don't have the words yet, but facial expressions, our tone of voice, our behavior, and sometimes our misbehavior can express how we feel, especially on upset and anger and frustration. Those are ones that sometimes in that little orneriness of defiance sometimes. And then we use our words like no and other angry words that we pick up, or I love you, or oh, you know, the tone and the happiness in our voice. So let's watch a video about the importance of play and how that through play, we can bond with our children, we can help them name their emotions, and to learn skills that they're going to need throughout life.
You know, I take the time to play with my son because I know how important it is to him and his development. But the truth is, I get as much out of it as he does. It reminds me of how great being a parent really is. Besides, it's just plain fun. Of course, playing is more than just fun to our children. It's their job. It's how they learn about the world and develop their skills. They're not just goofing off, they're developing their minds and their bodies. And when they play with us, they are strengthening the bond between parent and child that will last a lifetime. How you play with your child is up to you. It's a matter of your own creativity and the child's personality. And don't think you have to spend a lot of money on expensive toys and games. A simple household object like a spoon can be fascinating to a baby. Just make sure it's a safe object and introduce it with interest as you explore it together.
That's better.
You can even make a game out of talking with your baby. Try having a little conversation like this.
How was your day? Really? Oh yeah, that's so good. That is so cool. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, what's out there? Such an adventurer. Look at you exploring. Hey. Oh, what's up there? How's that? Oh yeah, that's better.
Believe it or not, talking to and with your baby is more than just fun. It can help set the stage for good language skills later. A game of peekaboo with your baby can have you both laughing with joy.
Peekaboo!
If you have a 1-year-old explorer, Try such favorites as which hand? If you have a 2-year-old boss at home, you might try horsey-back ride, fitting pots and pans and other items inside each other. By 3, your child will reach the pal stage and is going to enjoy playing make-believe. Though it's good to begin reading to your children when they are babies, don't be surprised if your child wants you to read or tell her the same story over and over again. It's one way she strengthens her mind. Word games and singing silly songs together can also be a lot of fun at this age. If you're in the mood, light wrestling and physical play, as long as you play safely and your child likes it, is not only fun, but can also teach coordination and self-control. 4-year-old adventurers like to play pretend, so don't miss out on playing school or going to a tea party. They also like to cut with scissors. Make sure they are child safe for safety, and they like to draw with crayons or markers. And how about a game of catch? For me, I never miss with Mommy the Human Swing.
All right, so why do we play a little day? Well, it's great for our child's esteem, self-esteem. When they can master a new skill like bouncing a ball or playing or catching, even walking and running, all those things come through play. It helps them learn about the world, to explore new areas, and to touch and feel and identify as we talk to them through these things. It helps them to develop new skills, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, to be able to use their fingers for different tasks. And it builds the bond between the two of us as we play, because it not only makes us closer together as we do activities together and allows us to model, but it also gives us a chance to form friendships and connections that are going to stay, and those memories that are going to last a lifetime. Some of my fondest memories are playing with my grandparents as a little girl, and I would spend nights with them, and they would tuck me in at night and they would play this game of My Lisa, and one would grab me and hug me close and say, My Lisa, and the other would reach over and go, no, My Lisa. And they played that back and forth, and we would laugh and giggle before we had a bedtime story and prayers. And so those are memories that have lasted almost 60 years that I share with them and are so precious. And so as you do these little things, they help bond every day, and just let your child know that they are loved and they have you always there for them. So even as parents get through the day and we get to the end of the day, we need to do self-care and take care of ourselves, because stressed out parents are not good for anybody, and they tend to let that stress flow out and from their own body to their children in negative ways. So how can we do self-care? It needs to be just right. So what does that look like? Creating a healthy body, taking care of ourselves, eating healthy, a healthy mind, keeping our mind exercised, learning new things, conversing with others. I know that years ago, I worked in a preschool, and I spent every day with 3 and 4-year-olds. And some days it felt like my brain was a little bit like Jell-O, and it wiggled and it jiggled, but there wasn't a whole lot of substance. And I caught myself saying and stuff a lot. And so when I engaged actively to have intelligent conversation with other adults, to share my experiences, to get feedback from them, and to stretch my mind a little bit more, it made me better to go back in the classroom and to be more encouraging and exciting as I worked with these small children, and to open their minds to new possibilities, to help them learn and grow. And getting organized. When we have chaos all around us, all it does is cause frustration for everyone. So taking the time at the end of the day or the beginning of the day to kind of get our mind, practice mindfulness, get ourselves organized, our home organized, so that we know where everything is and can get to it handily and have our day ready to go. It's going to make it a lot easier, and everything is going to go just right, even when things don't go perfect. That's the end of the first video. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully you'll watch the second session in just a little bit.